Well, now the surge in phone scammers during lockdown. Authorities say this year a cybercrime is reported every 8 minutes. These brave victims share their stories to warn you.
You can be sentenced for 5 years of prison.
This is not us calling you. We would never demand money from you.
And your honest warning number is 7428.
I think they're absolutely heartless, these scammers.
Like, I even heard about this sort of thing before it had happened to me, and you always think it won't be you.
The numbers are staggering. Already this year, we've lost more than $192 million to scams, and every 8 minutes here in Australia, a cybercrime is reported.
I was frightened all the time. Yeah. Even I always look behind me.
What happened to 82-year-old Amal will make your blood boil.
At the beginning, they said, my husband, and I said, no, he died. They use that sort of opportunity to frighten me.
For days on end, the recently widowed grandmother was badgered by scammers who ordered her to drive around to different banks.
I have their phone on because they said, keep it on, don't switch it off.
Amal is intelligent, a retired teacher with a PhD in chemistry. She almost lost $50,000.
Sometimes they said, we're going to hurt your children too, your daughter.
Scaring her and telling her if she told anyone that they would hurt her or her family.
Amal's daughter, Jackie.
And they had bullied her to the point that she was not thinking. And she would say that it was like she was in like some trance.
And then, the number called me back being the AFP, and I was like, okay, this could be real. And that's when my sort of heart sank, and then they had control of me from that point, I'd say.
If there's any proof that criminals are becoming increasingly convincing and any one of us can fall victim, meet 18-year-old Daniel Waterhouse, who's studying psychology at university.
When you're in that moment, you sort of don't realise that it's happening, then how stupid it could seem.
Scammers told him his bank accounts were compromised and only police could help.
The number that called me back was the Australian Federal Police's number, it's their full number. I had my laptop next to me and I looked it up and it was the exact same. So that's when I sort of freaked out and went, okay, maybe this is real.
His life savings were drained after he was ordered to buy a bunch of gift cards at the post office. It was the only way the fake officers told him his money could be safely transferred.
Given that I live on campus here, it was rent and for food as well.
We'd certainly never ever instruct any member of the public to go out and purchase gift cards, to buy Bitcoin.
Superintendent Jane Crossling is from the AFP. She says they've been inundated with victims from all over the country.
We at the Australian Federal Police are so concerned about these scams that make reference to Australian Federal Police demanding money, pretending to be members of the Australian Federal Police, or in fact calling from a number that appears to be one of our switchboard numbers around the country.
Fake agents are also sending these phony warrants.
Reasonable quality. You can see the AFP badge and the watermark here, but there are obvious errors. We've heard of some victims that have been asked to meet with people in the park and hand them over amounts of cash.
Like this man impersonating a federal officer who's now wanted by Victoria Police. He allegedly scammed $38,000 from a student and convinced her to meet at a Paran park.
We're really troubled by that, and I think there needs to be a little bit of sense checking.
The AFP is now trying to find a way to block calls mimicking their numbers while zeroing in on where the scammers are.
We have members around the world, so we are using our members that are placed elsewhere to help us with that.
Meanwhile, victims here say banks should be doing more.
The fact that they're empowering these criminals to hold these accounts in the first place, that you don't even need to go into the bank to open up an account.
As for Amal, thankfully, 2 banks intervened before it was too late, while another refunded her money in full after some pushing. If you get a call, ignore it or phone the police straight back.
They should hang up. They should look up what the number for the Australian Federal Police is, and they should call it by keying in the numbers themselves. Don't ever hit redial, and then they can ask the person at the other end of the line, is this legitimate or not?
I can't believe people like that exist in this world.
If you've fallen victim to a scam, call your bank immediately and report it to your local police station.